Welcome, boys and girls, to the Unit 10 test review. I bet you thought I was going to talk like that the whole time. I don't think so. Anyways, hey, I hope everybody's doing well and doing okay, but here you go with the Unit 10 test review. You can use this to help you. Some of the formulas that you may need. Keep in mind you may need some of these two-dimensional formulas. These right here. Oops. Let's try that again. These right here. There you go. Okay, you don't have to worry about these three-dimensional stuff yet. I repeat, yet. Okay, so make sure you have those readily available to you somewhere, maybe on a formula sheet. You can still make yourself a formula sheet or use your review. Here's also some other ones that I thought about. A kite and a rhombus, the area is 1/2 the diagonals, the two diagonals. Area of a regular polygon, and the sector of a circle. Most of y'all had a pretty easy time with those, so there you go with that. So let's look at the problems now of the review. Alright, so this first problem is a parallelogram. Now, so again, the area of a parallelogram is just base times height. The hard part here is you have three numbers. So which one is the base, which one is the height? And which one you don't even need at all, because you may have this type of problem. Okay, so the line that you see going here, this little line right here with the little 90-degree angle, that's going to give you the height. Okay? Now, the base is the one that touches that line. And so, like, at the 90-degree angle, something like that. So there's your base. So if I say here 10.8 times 3.7, I should get an answer of 39.96 rounded to the nearest hundredth. So this area here is 39.96 inches squared, or square inches. Okay? And we'll try to make sure that the answers appear something like that. If I'm going to do this multiple choice, I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see. Anyways, okay. Pi r squared. So here now we have a circle. Again, pi r squared. So I'm trying to make sure you understand which ones you're using. So come back over here, and then you would do, so this would be pi times 11 squared. And that should give you an answer of about 380.13 meters squared. Okay, now keep in mind, I didn't put this on here, but I think I do have it on the test. A semicircle would be half. So I'll put over here, like if I say semicircle, think that's circle. That would be pi r squared divided by 2. So don't forget that, okay? Alright, so now let's look at this one. Okay, so for a triangle, it is area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Here's your height. Your base is right there. So we've got to find that. And that means we'd have to do the Pythagorean theorem. So I would do 17.3 squared minus 16.5 squared, because that's a hypotenuse and you should subtract. That should get you about 5.2. Okay, so if you do that, then I would say 1/2 of 5.2 times 16.5 and get an answer of, that's a good question, what would I get an answer of? 5.2 times 16, just 1 second. Should get an answer of 42.9 feet squared. Square feet. Feet squared. Square feet. I don't know. Alright. Trapezoid, fairly easy. Oh, well, of course they made it a little bit more difficult. I don't think I did it like this that badly here. Anyways, you need to find this height here. In this case, that height is going to be, let's see here. I'll calculate that out for y'all. Okay, so what I did here was I subtracted this 15 and 7, which gives me 8. Now that 8 means this is 4 and this is 4. So if I do that and then treat this as a right triangle right here and do the 8.5 squared minus 4 squared, I'll get 7.5. Okay, so that means here that the area, which is equal to 1/2 the height times the basis, the sum of the bases, that would be 1/2 7.5 times 7 plus 15. Okay, so what does that give me? Gives me 82.5 square millimeters. And there you go, that would be it. Okay, CPs, I would assume that I'm probably going to give you this height. Pre-APs, be careful, I'm not sure. Anyways, let's look at the next set of problems. Okay, so this looks like a more standard question that I probably do for the trapezoids. Here's your height. Here's your basis, 31 plus 16. And all you got to do is type that into the calculator and get your answer. So let's see what that is, shall we? Alright, and I get an answer of 117.5 square meters, or meters squared. Okay, remember, this is a kite. Kite is, the area is equal to 1/2 d1 d2. So that means 1/2 of 34 times 11. And it really doesn't matter what the order that you have that in. It will come out either way. So, I mean, just make sure you just put it in. And what I get here is 187 square meters. Okay? And now, number 7, this is where I would be careful. And if you're not sure, look at the answer choices. Like something like this, I would definitely do an answer choice. But here's a rhombus. This is 5, this is 5, so I'm saying that's 10 for the whole thing. This is 2, this is 2, so I'm saying that's 4. And then half of that, because again, area is still half of d1 times d2. And so when you do that, you should get 20 centimeters squared. So kind of go with that. Alright, so now let's look at, say, a couple of word problems, because you will have some word problems. A semicircle has an area of 76.97 square yards. Find the diameter of the circle. Okay, first off, make sure you note that this is diameter. So read carefully. Now, area of a semicircle is equal to pi r squared divided by 2, or half pi r squared, whatever you want to say. Okay, this right here is 76.97. Goes right there for the area. Pi r squared divided by 2. So how do I start solving? I would multiply by 2, divide by pi. Okay, so I'm going to say 76.97 times 2. I'll write it here so those of you who are not listening will see that. Okay, that will give me the pi r squared. 76.97 times 2 is 153.94. Pi r squared. Then I would divide by pi. So divide this by pi. You get 49. I literally just got 49. So r squared is equal to 49. Take the square root. R is equal to 7. So then the diameter is equal to 14. Because remember, the diameter is multiplied by 2. Goes all the way across. Alright, so we're getting there. There's that word problem. Okay, so now we're at the sectors of circles. The idea here is that, again, x is the degree in the shaded area, r is your radius. So like in this case, I would say 114 over 360 times pi times the 8 squared. And I would just plug that into the calculator, which should get you an answer of 63.67 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's all you really got to do there. So if I do the same thing here, okay, so keep in mind here, this 37 is not in the shaded area. I'd have to say 360 minus 37 to get, let's see here, 323. Okay, so then I would say 323 over 360 times pi times 15 squared, and go from there. Okay, so what do I get? Should get about 634.21 square inches. Okay, so if I go with that idea, and if you look at the next one, if this is 136, this is 136. So if I say those are both 100, I get 272. So here I'm saying 272 over 360 times pi times the radius squared. Now let's make sure that this is the radius squared. B to E, 22. So yes, it is 22. And I would type that in and get my answer. Okay, and according to this, I get 1,148.85. So you kind of see how that works. And what is this again? Centimeters squared. Same thing here. If this is 73, this is 73. So I would say 360 minus 73 plus 73 is 146. Because I added these two together. And what I get is 360 minus 146 is equal to 214. And then I would plug that into the formula, 214 over 360 times pi times, okay, SR. Notice SR is all the way across. So I need to divide this by 2 to get 7 squared. So be careful and make sure you're checking closely. We got 91.51 inches squared, or square inches, and there we go. Alright, so those are sectors of the circle. Should hopefully be fairly easy. Let's look at the slightly ones that probably are going, oh, I can't handle this. Composite figures. Alright, so you need to recognize the two composite figures. I'm trying not to make them too difficult, but like in this case, I see a trapezoid. This is my trapezoid. So I have a trapezoid. And I have a triangle. Now that one, oh, good grief. I do think I try to make sure y'all get all the information you need, or you can find it fairly easily. And I'll explain what I mean. So in this case, my trapezoid is pretty easy. I've got 1/2 the height, which is 9, and the base 7, plus the other base 16. Okay, so I can find that one pretty easy. Now, I am going to find the area of the triangle. I need 1/2 the base, which is 16, and the height. That, I need this right here. And to get that, I would have to say, divide this by 2, that's 8, and say, do the whole Pythagorean theorem, 8 squared, 16 squared minus 8 squared, take the square root. So when I say 16 squared minus 8 squared, I don't think I do this to the CPs, but maybe I would to the pre-APs, but we'll see. My pre-AP students. And then take the square root of that. You get about 13.8. 13.9. I'll say 13.9. Okay, so you find those two areas, and then you would add those up. So you're going to add those up. So let's find those two areas first. So for the trapezoid, I get an area of 103.5, and for the triangle, I'm getting an area of 111.2. Add those up, and my total area, is going to be, oh, that's a good question. What is it going to be? I feel silly. All right, 214.7, and again, square meters. And there you go. So, not too difficult, but the question is, will you have all the information you need? I'll double check and make sure, but you got to make sure you can tell which is which. Okay, and I'll talk about some strategies about that in just a second. All right, so let's look at this one. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to do the Pythagorean theorem again because we've got a right triangle, so we can find this length right here. Okay, so if I do that again, 16.9 squared minus 11.9 squared. Notice how we have to do that a lot to get like another side. Okay, so if I take the square root of that, 16.9 squared minus 11.9 squared, I get 12. So this whole thing right here is 12. Okay, that means the radius is 6. So now I've got a triangle. That would be area is equal to 1/2 the base, which is 11.9, times the height, which is 12, and I got a semicircle that has an area of pi times 6 squared, because it's the radius, remember it's the radius divided by 2, okay? Or half of that again also. So let's see what those are. Okay, so I get here 71.4 and 56.5. And if I add those two together, I get my total area to be 127.9 square feet. Okay, so you kind of get the idea and kind of go from there. Okay, so how would I do something like this with the shaded area? Okay, so here I see a rectangle, and I've got a triangle. The difference is this time I'm going to subtract the two areas. Okay, so here I'm going to say area is equal to 29.8 times 13. Here I'm going to say area is equal to 1/2 the base. I need to find the base. How can I do that? Well, again, I would say 29.8 squared minus 28 squared and take the square root, and that would give me this base. There we go. Okay, so let me do that. So if you do this bit right here, you'll get 10.2, and then you got the 28, that's the height of the triangle, and you would multiply those two, and you're going to subtract those two areas. So let's see what we get. Okay, so for the rectangle, I get an area of 387.4. I get, for the triangle, 142.8. I need to subtract those two, and so I get a final area of equal to 244.6 square feet. Okay, and that's how I would do that problem. So now it's as good a time as any. Let's put in a secret word. I'll add this question in as a bonus question at the end. You give me my secret word, and that will give you some extra points. But for today, let's go with Astros. Okay? Just any reason why. That'll be that secret word, Astros. Okay? So there you go. Okay, so for this next one, I've got everything here. So I've got a triangle. I should be writing the word triangle. Triangle and a circle. Okay? And I'm going to subtract the circle from the triangle. Now, the triangle has a height of 27 kilometers. And I write a 7 because, well, hey, why not? I'm smart. And a base of 40 kilometers. Kilometers. That's a lot of kilometers. Anyways, the circle has an area pi times the radius squared. If the radius is the diameter is 12, the radius would be 6. So I will get those two answers and then subtract. Okay, so this gives me an area of 540. This one gives me an area of 113.0, actually 0.1. Okay, so then if I subtract those two, so 540 minus the 113.1, I get 426.9 total. What is this? Kilometers squared, square kilometers. Okay, so that's the area, the total area, the shaded area. I should say shaded area. Okay? Anyways, that's it for that topic, so let's move on to the next one, shall we? Regular polygons. Okay, so this is actually a lot harder than what I'm going to do on the test. I am going to give you, say, a side, and if it doesn't give it to you in the drawing, I will tell you the apothem or the side, whatever's maybe missing. So in this case, the apothem is going to be 4.04. Okay, so then that means you need to find the perimeter, because again, the area is equal to 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. That's actually more of a lowercase p, but whatever. Okay, so in this case, I would say 1/2 4.04 times the perimeter, which is 14 times 3, which is 42. Okay, and then that would give you an area of 84.84 square meters. Okay, or meters squared. All right, see on number 19, I already have the apothem. I have a side, because that's what I'll give you, an area, an apothem and a side. So the perimeter would be 5 times this. So I would say to get the perimeter, 0.5 times 10.9 to get 54.5. So my area is equal to 1/2 7.5 times 54.5. And when I type that in, what do I get? Let's find out. Okay, I get 204.38. Again, square meters, and there you go. That's all you're doing here. Okay, now on this one, like I said, here you can see this is the apothem. So based off that, I would tell you that the side is equal to 10. Okay, I would give that to you. Like, it's going to be given to you on the test because, well, why not? Okay, so that means then the perimeter for this one is equal to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times 6, 60. So here, I would say 1/2, 5 square root of 3, times 60. And that's how I would type it into the calculator. 5 times, parentheses, 5 square root of, oopsie. Add just some things as I typed it into the calculator. But I get an area is equal to, here, 259.81 centimeters squared. Okay, so you kind of see all I'm doing is making sure I have these. Now, again, I'll give you the apothem, I'll give you the side. You got to find the perimeter. You got to find the area. Now, how do you find the perimeter? Again, you multiply the number, the side length, times the number of sides. In this case, 10 times 6. Here, I got the 42 by saying 14 times 3. Okay? Here, I'm going to tell you, here's your apothem. Your apothem is 6. So the side would be equal to, let me see. Okay, so the side here should be 6.93. See, that's what I would give you. So then from there, you would still have to say, okay, find the perimeter. 6.93. Hold up, let me fix that. 6.93 times 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, would give me a perimeter of 41.58. Okay, so then the area here is equal to 1/2 of the apothem, 6, times the 41.58, and you go from there and type it in. So 0.5 times 6 times 41.58, and you get 124.74 square feet. Okay, and that's it. That's pretty much it right there. Now, I did say I would give you little tips and tricks on something about the composite figures. Keep in mind, like if I give you something like this, oh, let's do it like this. You can see how well I draw. Okay, so think of it like this. You got a rectangle, you got a semicircle. So look for the shapes that you can see. If you saw something like this, you should be able to tell that that's a triangle and a semicircle. If I did something like this, but let's say I gave you like this distance right here, like from here to here. Well, if you know, say this distance right here, let's say here, this distance, you could subtract it from the total, this y, and that would give you the height of the triangle. So those are some things you might want to remember and kind of go from there. Anyways, guys, remember, this is a new situation for us, so make sure you were listening. Hopefully you use this to help you during the test. You know, obviously you can use the review this time while you're working on it because I wouldn't know better. But anyways, do your best. Keep doing the hard work. Keep helping out everybody that you can, and, you know, just be safe. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all take care. If y'all have any questions, feel free to send them to me on Google Classroom or Remind. Y'all take care. Thank you.